Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to configure single node Minikube Kubernetes cluster on Linux operating system Ubuntu 22.04 with latest stable release. I have installed latest Ubuntu on Oracle VirtualBox, and in Ubuntu machine, we will install and configure Minikube Kubernetes cluster. Minikube is nothing but a single node local Kubernetes cluster. Installing and configuring a Minikube cluster is very easy in Linux, Windows, and macOS operating system. We can use Minikube cluster in testing, POCs, or sandbox environment. It is not recommended to use Minikube Kubernetes cluster in production environment because we must have high availability for production apps with at least 2 workers and a master node. There are a few prerequisites for configuring a Minikube cluster. It requires a minimum 2 CPUs and more than 2 GB free memory in the machine. Machine should have at least 20 GB of free disk space. Internet connection is also required because Minikube download images to configure Kubernetes cluster. Machine should have either a container environment or virtual machine manager. In our system, we have Docker installed. Let's get started and configure our single node Kubernetes cluster. So guys, let's just configure Minikube single node Kubernetes cluster in our Ubuntu 22.04 latest stable release version. Let's just jump into Minikube website and click on Minikube start. So here you can see we can download the executable for Minikube for different OS, but we have to install in our Linux machine. So let's just click on Linux 64-bit stable release and binary download. So let's just copy it and go to our terminal. Just start it. Okay, it's just asking me my root password. I think something goes wrong. I need to just let me just click it one by one. Okay, curl command is not there, so we have to install curl first. Okay, sorry for that. Sudo. All right. What we have to do here, we have to kill this process. Yeah, using sudo. Okay, it's done. Now it will install curl. Why? So we are going to install curl first because there is curl inside here. There is something wrong. If we have wget installed, so we can use that. I'll check it later. Wget. There is something wrong in my internet connection. Yeah. Okay, I'll check this and I'll come back. So guys, my internet connection is restored. Let's just check again. Yeah, you can access Google. Let's just go to mini site website and install Minikube Linux AMD64 executable. It won't take so long, so let's just wait. Yeah, it is installed, as you can see here. So guys, as I said earlier, to run Minikube single node Kubernetes cluster, either we should have container runtime environment or virtual machine manager. So as I'm in Ubuntu machine, so we can install Docker. That is the best option for us rather than opting for virtual machine manager. So I'm going to Docker website and let's just install Docker in Ubuntu machine. So we are on Docker website and let's just first let me just install Docker first. All right, LTS. Okay, let's just add official Docker GPT keys. Okay, it's done. And date our Ubuntu machine. It won't take so long. Okay, done. And let's just install the latest version of Docker. Alright, there's something wrong. Docker CLI. Okay, means that package is missing. Let's just install only Docker Community Edition and Docker CLI. Package has no installation candidate. Let me just check what is the problem here. Okay, alright, I think I haven't executed it. Okay, so let me just again try this. Okay, and hit this command. Alright, we missed that particular the command to set up repository. Okay, it won't take so long. So meanwhile, I'm pausing the video and I'll come back. So guys, our Docker is installed in our system. Let's just see Docker status in our Ubuntu. Yeah, it's active and running, and we have already installed Minikube. So let's just run this command in order to, but before that I would recommend first you have to set your runtime environment as default. So there's a command for that. Let me just check this. Okay, so guys, we have to set the drivers. So in here we are using Docker as a driver for our Minikube. So this is the driver page, and we are setting Linux as a Docker as a driver. So this is the command basically to make Docker the default driver. I'm gonna copy this and alright, hit enter. Okay, because we haven't installed Minikube yet, so let's just install Minikube first. Okay, alright. Okay, it is installed, and now run this command to set the driver Docker. Okay, so let's Minikube delete and Minikube start. Alright, there is something wrong. The driver is none. Let me just set the driver again, run the command. There's something wrong. So after installing Docker, we need to install Minikube. Let's just see. Yeah, Minikube executable in our root home directory. Yeah, it is here, and I believe we have already installed Minikube and set Docker as a default driver, but there is something wrong because there is Docker socket. We need to give the privileges, because the ownership of Docker socket under where run docker dot socket, the ownership is root, but ideally we should run our Minikube cluster as a normal user. So currently I'm logged in as a normal user called Ravi. So first we have to set the ownership of Docker socket. we can see the status ctl status docker is running, but the default ownership is root. So let's just make Ravi user as a owner of this file. Sorry for that. Sudo ch on Ravi here. Okay, and now try to execute Minikube. Cube delete and Minikube start. All right, bravo, here we go. So Minikube is trying to download the Kubernetes image, and once it is downloaded, we would have our single node cluster ready. So I'm gonna pause this video until it is downloaded and running. So our Kubernetes Minikube cluster installed, and let's just see. Sorry for that, but we have to install kubectl as well in order to just communicate our single node Minikube cluster. Cluster is up, but let's just install Minikube as well. So kubectl Ubuntu. Go to this website and install this binary. Okay, copy this, paste. It won't take so long, let's just wait. It is gonna install kubectl binary. So our executable binary is downloaded. So but the permission of this kubectl is just it is not executable. Basically we have to give the permission as executable chmod kubectl. Okay, now this is an executable file, so we can execute it, but to access this we have to move this executable under usr bin. Okay, move kubectl. Okay, sudo permission. Okay, so let's just try to execute kubectl get pods. There we go. So we have our single node Minikube Kubernetes cluster running, and you can use this server for your testing, POCs and sandbox environment. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned.